Herschel Walker is an example of one of those individuals that you wish could take several days off from their I guess you can say their hobby, because I don't think cooning really comes with a check. Well, for some it does, but it doesn't last forever. So I've never done a video on my channel just talking about Herschel Walker. I've mentioned him in a live stream, but never in a video. But I got to talk about these comments he just recently made. And this is more not just to him, but to anybody who is considered to be a Black American, meaning they were born here, their ancestry lineage is here, who says something like what he just said and which I'm going to talk about. Y'all can catch the smoke too. So Herschel Walker went to Fox News, of course, to air out his grievances about reparations. And he basically says that, or he has put out a stance against reparations and saying that he's accusing the Democrats of pandering for a vote. If anything, when we were talking about reparations and wanting to get them, Democrats or the Democratic Party was some of the main ones giving us pushback or saying that we didn't deserve to get reparations, or did he not see what clown Mala Harris has been saying? The Republicans were pretty much the same exact way, but it makes me wonder if the Republicans was talking about reparations so much, would he have made this claim? I think it's just the fact that he just claims not to like the Democratic Party. But it's still a silly notion at the end of the day, because Herschel Walker himself is a Black American, to my knowledge. Let me go ahead and also before I get into it, let me read one of the quotes that he gave. Why are you paying African Americans off instead of empowering African Americans? Pay attention to what he just said. Paying us off. He make it seem like we're receiving a settlement check. You know how when they pay a family off, or a settlement or something like that, when a family member has been done wrong or harmed or worse, or paying someone off to not do something or to go forward, a settlement. And then he comes with the empowering notion. Listen, we have gotten so much empowerment and it really hasn't gotten us that very far. We're done being quote unquote empowered. Now we need tangibles. And that comes in the form of our check, multiple checks at that. And it's not a handout, because that's also what he's in a way calling it. He's calling it a handout. We are the only group of people where when we demand our reparations or our tangibles, do you have people within or outside of the community call it a handout? As if palm-colored people and other groups of people haven't been receiving handouts, especially this year, between them stimulus checks and them unemployment payments. And Herschel Walker, if you were smart enough to look up a stat, you will see that palm-colored people receive the most government assistance. Subsidies, because they don't like to call it a handout when it comes to them. They like to call it subsidies, as if we don't know it's the same thing, but just different wording. See, when they name it for us, when they give us the title, they try to make it seem so wrong. California's newly enacted legislation creating a task force to study the possibility of paying Black Americans reparations for slavery is upsetting, the former NFL player Herschel Walker told the story Thursday. And it makes you wonder, why would he feel some type of way, and he's a Black American himself? Like, that makes no sense. It would make more sense if it came from someone, say, like from the Caribbean or maybe the UK. Then we'll get it, because we've been getting attacked by them all the time. But Herschel Walker is a Black American, and he's proof that coonism can be passed down through genetics, because his son, oh my God, that boy is more flaming than a big bag of flaming hot Cheetos. I've already aired my grievances out about him plenty of times. I'm upset about it because all they're doing is pandering for a vote. Walker told host Martha McCullum, why are you paying African Americans off instead of empowering African Americans? I just don't like how he said that. That statement right there coming from him rubbed me the wrong way. Walker argued the best way to empower Black people is to provide tools for growth and prosperity, which he said 45 is doing by creating job opportunities. Listen to that. Creating job opportunities. Basically, not business opportunities or, for us to go into the lane of entrepreneurship, but job opportunities, basically keeping us in a slave bracket, as in we're not going to excel. See, he's one of those Negroes that they feel that they have made it. They have climbed and made it to Plymouth Rock and feels that there's only enough space for them in that area. And the rest of us got to just be underneath him. He's one of those Negroes. I can't stand. I got it. He's an example of an uppity Negro. There it is. That's him. Just on that statement alone. And enhancing education in underdeveloped areas of the country. Why don't you teach them how to work? Let me remind y'all, this is a black man, so-called, saying this. Why don't you teach them how to work? As if black people don't work. This guy got one too many hits. See, I forgot what it was. It's something that happened in his career where he was jealous of somebody. I forgot what it was. Somebody please remind me down in the comments. This guy not only hates himself, but he hates other black people that make it further than he did. He's one of those Negroes. So he gets out there and he tries his best to try to be this stand-up man or the stand-up individual, and everybody else just ain't shit. That's him. Don't give them a fish. You teach them how to fish. That's what's going to make African Americans better, and I hope every African American wakes up. No, how about you shut the fuck up and go to sleep, Herschel Walker? That's what you can do. You and your yellow brick skipping down the road with Dorothy and her little friends off to see the Wizard of Oz son of yours. That's what the both of you can do. Because I swear, Herschel Walker is just the heterosexual masculine version of his son. If you want to be technical. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden has said he supports reparations if direct cash payments prove feasible. Walker went on to point out that the BLM rioters in Democrat-run cities are looting businesses and destroying property out of a sense of being repaid. Even as party leaders want to quote-unquote pay you for a vote, does he know how ridiculous he sounds? Now, I'm not a supporter of BLM because I know what they stand for. But that quote, that statement he just made makes absolutely no sense. And to me, just doesn't scream to be true. Let me read that again. He went out to point out that BLM rioters, and who's to say they're the ones rioting, in Democrat-run cities are... Okay, see, here's the thing. I'm not a supporter of the Democrats. I'm not a supporter of the Republicans, but I like to call out stuff on all sides. It's amazing how people like Herschel Walker, the Coonstras, Brandon Fakem, and all the others who have these talking points love to talk about Democrat-ran cities, but they don't say anything about these ran down, homeless everywhere, methed out, Republican red states. They never talk about them. They never, ever talk about them. I don't know where Herschel Walker lives, but I would like to know what his city is looking like or his state is looking like. And I swear, they always say Democrat-ran cities and they always link it back to black people as if black people are the only ones who make up the supporters of that party. 2/3 on your screen. And so is his son. 2/3. What about empowering you to run your own businesses? He asked. What about empowering you to become a doctor, to become a lawyer? No one thought about that. Everyone's thinking about let's pay you off. That's what they used to do years ago. I thought we wanted change. It's not a payoff, you brain dead dummy. It's called reparations. Repair, to fix, to owe. We are owed that money. We are owed a lot of things. And the thing is, like I said, he's a part of that. And when I saw this, I left a comment. I said, well, in that case, I'll take his cut, since apparently he doesn't want to be quote unquote paid off. My thing is this. Like I said, that's the confusing part about it. He would be a part of getting the reparations, and he's shunning it and saying this foolishness. That's what boggles my mind about the whole thing. That's why you can't take people like Herschel Walker or his twirling son seriously. You can't. Like any black person who is a black American who says the stuff that he says about reparations, say you will take their cut. I will gladly take their cut. If they make a check out to Herschel Walker, I'm like, first off, before you write his name on there, don't write mine on there. I'll take it. I'll find use of it. And I'll probably put it to way better use than he would. And I'm willing to bet his hypocritical self would probably be like, well, I will take the cut. I have a question for Herschel Walker. Did you receive a stimulus check during any time of the pandemic? That's what I'd like to know. Did he receive a stimulus check? He probably did, but if you ask him, he'll probably tell you, what his line as. Him and his son. But my goodness, this guy is off the chain and not in a good way.